There's someone in your orbit who watches you differently now, not with curiosity, not with casual interest, with something quieter, something reverent. They've witnessed how you've carried yourself through what would have broken most people, and it's doing something to them they didn't expect. They're not talking about it. They're not announcing it, but in the private spaces of their own heart, they're having a conversation with themselves about you that's changing everything. They thought they knew about what's possible between two people. You might not have noticed. You've been too busy surviving, rebuilding, showing up even when it hurt. But your resilience, the way you've held yourself together while life was trying to tear you apart, has become this person's unexpected teacher. And what they're learning is bringing them back to life. See, this isn't about them having a crush or developing feelings in the conventional sense. This is deeper. This is someone who had given up on something fundamental, the belief that people can be genuinely strong and genuinely soft, powerfully independent and beautifully open, scarred by life and still willing to trust it. They decided those combinations didn't exist in real people, that everyone eventually becomes bitter or closed off or performs strength without actually having it. Then they watched you, really watched you. They saw you handle disappointment with grace they didn't know people still possessed. They watched you set boundaries without cruelty, hold your ground without hardening, process pain without making everyone around you suffer for it. They noticed how you didn't collapse into self-pity when things fell apart, but you also didn't pretend everything was fine. You gave yourself permission to be human while refusing to stay stuck in victim mode, and something in their chest cracked open, because here's what's happening in their internal world right now. They're rebuilding their entire understanding of what strength actually looks like. Every assumption they'd made about relationships, about vulnerability, about whether it's safe to hope again, all of it is being rewritten because of what they're witnessing in you. They're not just admiring you. They're studying you like someone who's been lost in the dark and just found someone carrying light. How are they doing this? They keep asking themselves, how are they still open after everything? How are they still kind? How are they still believing in good things? Your existence is answering questions they stopped asking years ago. If you're watching this right now, I want you to understand what's actually unfolding here. This isn't a simple story about someone developing attraction. This is about your journey, the private one you've been walking, the healing you've been doing, the strength you've been building when no one was applauding, becoming the catalyst for someone else's transformation. They're falling in love with possibility again because of you. Not just the possibility of being with you, though that might be part of it. The possibility that real, sustainable, healthy love still exists somewhere in this world. The possibility that someone can have been through hell and still have heaven in their eyes. The possibility that they themselves might not be too broken, too late, too damaged to experience something genuine. Your strength is proving to them that hope isn't foolish. Drop a heart emoji if you've been focused on your own healing without realizing who's been watching. They're being careful. They're not rushing toward you with declarations. They're not disrupting your peace with premature confessions, because one of the things they admire most is your peace, the hard-won serenity you've cultivated, and they're not going to be the person who disturbs it before the timing is. Right, but don't mistake their quietness for absence. Don't mistake their patience for indifference. What's happening in their heart is profound and growing stronger by the day. They're letting themselves feel things they'd shut down. They're imagining futures they'd stopped envisioning. They're becoming someone new because witnessing your strength is teaching them what's actually worth becoming. There's more to this story than you realize. The way you've carried yourself isn't just inspiring one person, it's setting something in motion that's bigger than both of you. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share will help you understand why this moment matters more than you think. Let me paint the picture of what's actually happening in their experience, because I need you to see how deeply your strength has penetrated their awareness. They're moving through their regular life, work commitments, daily routines, normal interactions, but there's this undercurrent now. Your name surfaces in their thoughts at unexpected moments, not in an obsessive way, in a wondering way. How are they doing today? I hope they know how incredible they are. God, I wish I'd learned what they know when I was younger. They'll be in the middle of something completely unrelated and suddenly remember the way you handled that difficult situation. The composure you maintained when you had every right to fall apart. The kindness you extended when bitterness would have been justified. These memories stop them in their tracks because they're recalibrating their entire value system around what real strength looks like. Here's what's so powerful about this. They're not romanticizing you. They're not putting you on some unrealistic pedestal where you can only disappoint them later. They're seeing you clearly, your humanity, your struggles, your imperfections, and they're admiring you more because of it, not despite it. They've watched you have bad days and not perform through them. They've seen you admit when you're struggling. They've witnessed you being less than perfect, and somehow that makes you more admirable, and not less because you're still showing up. Still trying, still choosing integrity even when it's hard. This is hitting them so deeply because they've been surrounded by performances. People performing confidence without having it. People performing happiness without feeling it. People performing strength while secretly falling apart. But you're just being genuinely strong in the quiet, unglamorous way that actual strength manifests, and it's making them feel safe in a way they haven't felt safe in years. See, when someone has given up on love, really given up, not just saying it but feeling it bone deep, it's usually because they've concluded that vulnerability always leads to pain. That opening your heart is just volunteering for inevitable disappointment. That the people who claim to be strong are just better at hiding their dysfunction. But watching you is dismantling those beliefs. They're seeing that yes, you've been hurt. Yes, you've faced rejection and loss and betrayal and all the things that make people build walls. But you haven't become a wall. You've maintained your openness while developing discernment. You've kept your softness while building your spine. You've refused to let hard experiences make you a hard person. This revelation is staggering to them in their private moments, and let me be specific about what this looks like. They catch themselves smiling when your name comes up. They find themselves hoping they'll run into you, not because they have something specific to say, but because being in your presence makes them feel more alive. They notice how their energy shifts when you're around, how they stand a little taller, speak a little more honestly, feel a little more hopeful about everything. They're paying attention to things about you that most people miss. The way your eyes change when you're really listening to someone. The subtle shift in your voice when you're tired, but pushing through anyway. The specific kind of silence you carry, not heavy or awkward, but peaceful, like someone who's made friends with themselves. These details are sinking into their consciousness and rearranging their understanding of what they want, who they want to be, what kind of partnership would actually be worth pursuing. If this is resonating, type "I see it" in the comments. Here's what they're realizing that's changing everything. Strength and tenderness aren't opposites. Independence and intimacy aren't contradictions. Being healed doesn't mean being perfect. It means being honest about your scars while not letting them define your capacity for joy. You're teaching them this without trying to teach them anything. You're just living it, and they're learning by osmosis. They're starting to imagine what it would be like to build something with someone like you. Not the fantasy version where everything is easy. The real version where two people who've both done their work come together and create something that honors both their healing and their wholeness. Where strength doesn't mean isolation and vulnerability doesn't mean weakness. This imagination is terrifying them a little because they'd shut this door so firmly. They'd locked it, thrown away the key, convinced themselves they were fine alone. And here you are, not even trying to open that door. Just existing in your truth, and the door is opening anyway from the inside. They're feeling things they'd buried. Hope, excitement, the scary, exhilarating possibility that maybe they could try again. Maybe they could risk being seen again. Maybe they could let someone in without losing themselves in the process. Your strength is giving them permission to be strong too. Not in the defensive, self-protective way they've been strong. In the open, grounded, authentic way you demonstrate. Strength that doesn't require hiding. Strength that can hold both confidence and uncertainty, both clarity and questions, both self-sufficiency and the desire for connection. This is why they're being quiet about it. They're processing something monumental. They're undergoing an internal revolution where everything they thought they knew about relationships, about themselves, about what's possible between two people, all of it is being reborn, and you're the midwife to this rebirth. Though you don't even know it, what's coming next will show you the specific dimensions of what they're experiencing. Don't go anywhere. This gets even more profound. Let me take you deeper into the specific ways your strength is working on them. Because there are layers here that deserve to be understood. Every time they witness you handling life with grace, it's holding up a mirror to their own responses, their own patterns, their own possibilities. This isn't a comfortable mirror. It's showing them where they've been making excuses, where they've been hiding behind cynicism, where they've been calling bitterness wisdom and calling walls boundaries. They're seeing the difference now. Real boundaries, the kind you have, don't shut everyone out. They're selective membranes that keep harm out while letting goodness in. The walls they've built, those keep everything out, including the people and experiences they actually want. When you stand firm in your truth without being rigid, when you say no without being cruel, when you protect your peace without isolating yourself, they're watching and recognizing that they've been doing it all wrong. Not in a shameful way. In an, oh, there's actually another way, revelation. They're noticing how you make room for your feelings without being controlled by them. You get disappointed but don't spiral. You feel hurt but don't harden. You experience frustration but don't lash out. This emotional regulation they're witnessing isn't repression, it's mastery. And they're realizing mastery is possible, that they could develop it too. Here's something fascinating. Your strength makes them feel safe, but not in the way they expected safety to feel. They're not feeling safe because you're going to protect them from the world. They're feeling safe because you've demonstrated you can handle yourself, which means you won't need them to be someone they're not. Think about what this means for someone who's been burned before. Every previous relationship might have required them to be the strong one, the rock, the person who never wobbles. Or maybe they were with someone whose strength was so fragile that they had to constantly prop it up, validate it, be careful not to threaten it. But your strength is solid enough that it doesn't need their maintenance. You're not looking for someone to complete you, or save you, or fix you. You're whole already. This means if they come into your life, it gets to be because they genuinely want to, not because you need them to. This is revolutionary for someone who's tired of being needed in ways that drain them, or who's tired of needing people in ways that diminish them. They're imagining what it would feel like to be with someone they can fully show up with, not for, not to rescue, not to manage, but with as equals. As whole people choosing each other from overflow, not lack. Your strength is showing them this kind of partnership might actually exist. There's something happening that's almost mystical. Your courage is becoming contagious. They're watching you take risks, the risk of staying open, the risk of trying again, the risk of believing good things are still possible, and it's making them braver. They're finding themselves speaking up in situations where they'd usually stay silent, making choices they'd normally be too afraid to make. Setting standards they'd convinced themselves were too high. Why? Because if you can maintain your integrity under pressure, maybe they can too. If you can face uncertainty without collapsing, maybe they can too. If you can heal without becoming hard, maybe they can too. Your existence is functioning as proof of concept. Proof that it's possible to go through hell and come out still believing in heaven. Proof that being strong doesn't mean being alone. Proof that vulnerability with the right person isn't foolish. It's the whole point. They're watching you and thinking, if they can do it, maybe it's not impossible. Maybe I'm not too damaged. Maybe it's not too late. let me give you the texture of what they remember. Because these aren't vague impressions. These are specific moments seared into their consciousness. That time they saw you navigate conflict with maturity that shocked them. You didn't yell or manipulate or play victim. You stated your truth calmly, held your boundary firmly, and walked away with your dignity intact. They thought about that moment for days afterward, realizing they'd never seen someone handle tension that way, that conversation where you talked about your past pain without drowning in it. You acknowledged what hurt without making it your identity. You owned your part in things without taking responsibility for other people's choices. The balance in how you spoke, honest but not bitter, aware but not obsessed, showed them that healing is real and looks different than they imagined. The time they watched you celebrate someone else's success when you had every reason to be jealous. Your genuine joy for another person's breakthrough, even when you were still waiting for yours, revealed a security in yourself that they'd never witnessed up close before. If this is touching something in you, I'd be honored if you'd consider clicking the super thanks button below. It helps me continue creating these deep explorations of what's happening in your life, and I'm so grateful for those of you who support this work. That moment they saw you alone, thinking no one was looking, and your face carried this peace. Not the fake peace of someone pretending everything is fine. The real peace of someone who's done the work, faced their demons, and come out knowing who they are. That unguarded moment might have taught them more about true strength than anything you've ever said. These moments are stacking up in their memory, creating a composite picture of who you are. And that picture is gorgeous, not because you're perfect, but because you're genuinely strong in ways that matter. What's happening inside them is tectonic. Beliefs they've held for years are cracking. Defenses they built to protect themselves are starting to feel more like prisons. Stories they told themselves about why love doesn't work are sounding hollow now. They're lying awake sometimes, not in anguish, but in wonder, thinking about you. Not obsessively fantasizing about some perfect future, but genuinely contemplating what it would mean to let themselves hope again. To want something. To imagine partnership that doesn't involve losing themselves. They're scared, yes. Because wanting something means you can lose it. Opening means you can be hurt. Hoping means you can be disappointed. They know these risks because they've paid these prices before. But here's what your strength has taught them. The risks of closing down are actually higher than the risks of staying open. A life defended against hurt is also defended against joy. A heart protected from pain is also protected from love. Playing it safe feels safe until you realize you're suffocating. They're choosing to breathe again. Because of you, with each passing day, week, month, something is solidifying in them. This isn't a fleeting attraction that will fade. This isn't infatuation that will reveal itself as projection. This is deep recognition that you represent something they've been looking for without knowing how to name it. They're becoming certain that if they ever get the chance to love you, to know you more deeply, to build something with you, they won't waste it. They won't take you for granted. They won't project their past wounds onto your present reality. They won't need you to be smaller so they can feel bigger, or bigger so they can feel safe. They're preparing themselves, even if unconsciously, to show up for you the way you've been showing up for life, with integrity, with intention, with the kind of strength that's tender and the kind of tenderness that's strong. Your strength isn't just making them believe in love again, it's making them become someone worthy of the kind of love you deserve. This is going somewhere even more beautiful than you realize. Stay with me. The revelation that's coming will shift how you see this entire situation. Now let me tell you what's really happening here. Because there's a spiritual dimension to this that needs to be named. Your healing journey, the private work you've been doing, the pain you've been processing, the strength you've been building, wasn't just for you. It never is. When someone does genuine soul work, when they transform their wounds into wisdom, when they choose to stay open despite having every reason to close down, they become a living testimony. And testimonies have power that reaches beyond the person carrying them. You didn't know someone was watching. You weren't performing your healing for an audience. You were just doing what you needed to do to survive, to thrive, to become who you're meant to be. But that authenticity, that's exactly what makes your strength so powerful to witness. This person isn't just admiring you. They're being healed by proximity to your healing. They're being transformed by witnessing your transformation. Your journey is giving them a roadmap they didn't know they needed. Here's the profound truth. The universe has been orchestrating this, not in some manipulative, forced way, in the organic way that light attracts moths, that warmth melts ice, that authentic strength gives permission for others to be strong too. You've been becoming the answer to prayers they stopped praying because they lost faith that anyone like you existed. Think about what this means. While you were focused on your own path, doing your own work, healing your own wounds, you were simultaneously being prepared to be exactly what someone else needed to believe in love again. Not to save them, not to fix them, but to exist as proof that whole, healthy, strong yet soft people are real. This is one of the mysteries of the human experience. We heal not just for ourselves, but for everyone we'll encounter after our healing. Every person who does genuine inner work is lighting a candle that helps others find their way out of darkness. You're someone's candle right now, even if they haven't told you yet. The timing, there's a reason this is happening now. There's a reason they're seeing you clearly at this particular moment in both of your lives. They're finally ready to recognize real strength because they've experienced enough false versions. They've been through enough pretenders, enough performers, enough people who talked about growth without actually growing, that they can now spot the real thing when they see it. And you're the real thing. If they'd met you earlier, before their disillusionment, before their cynicism, before they lost faith, they might have taken you for granted. They might have projected their immature understanding of love onto you. They might not have had the capacity to fully appreciate what you represent, but now they're ready. Now they understand what they're looking at. Now they have the wisdom to recognize that what you carry is rare and precious and worth honoring. The same timing that's been growing your strength has been growing their capacity to recognize it. This isn't coincidence. This is synchronicity. What they're actually seeing. Let me get specific about what's registering in their awareness when they watch you, because it's more nuanced than simple admiration. They're seeing someone who's learned that self-love isn't selfish. It's essential. You're not martyring yourself for others, but you're also not making everything about you. You found that middle path where you honor yourself while staying connected to others. And this balance is teaching them it's possible to be both strong and relational. They're seeing someone who's made peace with their past without erasing it. You don't pretend your wounds never happened, but you also don't let them run your present. You've integrated your experiences, the good and the bad, into a coherent self that's stronger for having faced darkness. This integration is showing them that healing doesn't mean pretending, it means processing. They're seeing someone who's broken the cycle. Whatever patterns ran in your family, whatever dysfunction was normalized in your past relationships, whatever limiting beliefs you inherited, you've looked at them clearly and said, "No, this stops with me." That kind of courage is rare, and they recognize it because they're trying to do the same thing. They're seeing someone who knows the difference between being guarded and being boundaried. Guarded people keep everyone at arm's length out of fear. Boundaried people let the right people in while keeping harmful people out of wisdom. You're boundaried, not guarded. And this distinction is everything to someone who's been trying to figure out how to protect themselves without isolating themselves. The gift they're receiving, whether you end up with this person romantically or not, and we'll talk about that in a moment, they're receiving a gift from you right now that will change the trajectory of their life. You're showing them what's possible. You're proving that people can heal. You're demonstrating that strength doesn't require hardness. You're modeling that staying open is braver than closing down. This gift will ripple out beyond just them and you. If they carry forward what they're learning from watching you, they'll treat the next person they love with more awareness, more respect, more maturity. They'll show up differently in their friendships. They'll parent differently if they have children. They'll lead differently in their work. Your strength isn't just affecting one person, it's affecting everyone that person will touch going forward. This is how healing spreads. This is how consciousness shifts. This is how the world becomes more loving, one person at a time doing their work, and other people witnessing that work and believing it's possible for them too. What this means for your path, here's what I need you to understand. Whether this person steps forward romantically, whether they ever verbalize what they're feeling, whether your paths converge or remain parallel, your strength has already served its purpose in their life. You've already been the catalyst for their transformation. You've already helped them believe in love again. This doesn't diminish the possibility of something beautiful unfolding between you. It actually enhances it, because if something does develop, it will be grounded in genuine respect and recognition rather than need or fantasy. But it also means you can release any anxiety about whether they see you, whether they appreciate you, whether your strength is being noticed. It is, deeply, and it's doing exactly what it's meant to do. Your job isn't to make them step forward or declare themselves. Your job is to keep being exactly who you've been becoming: authentic, strong, open, healing, growing. The right people will recognize what you carry. The right connections will form organically. The right love will meet you where you are and honor what you've built. Type grateful. If you're feeling the weight and beauty of what your journey has been creating, this person who's quietly admiring your strength, they're just one reflection of the energy you're putting into the world. There are others who are being impacted by you in ways you'll never know about. Your strength is like a stone thrown into a pond. The ripples reach farther than you can see, so keep going. Keep healing. Keep growing. Keep choosing strength that's tender and tenderness that's strong. Keep being the living proof that people can go through hell and come out still believing in heaven. Whether this particular person becomes part of your story or remains a beautiful chapter of mutual growth, your strength is serving exactly the purpose it's meant to serve, transforming not just you, but everyone who's wise enough to really see you. Now let's talk about what you do with this knowledge, because understanding what's happening is only part of the equation. Application is where wisdom becomes power. So what do you do with this awareness? How do you navigate knowing that someone is quietly admiring your strength and finding their way back to believing in love because of you? Let me give you practical, grounded guidance that honors both where you are and what's unfolding. Honor your journey without performing first, and most important, don't change a single thing about how you're showing up. Your power right now lies in your authenticity. The moment you start performing strength instead of genuinely embodying it, the whole dynamic shifts. People can sense when someone is being real versus when they're trying to be seen. You've been on your healing path without an audience, without applause, without external validation, and that's exactly why your strength is so compelling. It's not manufactured for consumption. It's not curated for approval. It's just real. Keep it real. If you're having a hard day, have a hard day. If you need to cry, cry. If you're struggling, acknowledge the struggle. Your strength isn't about never falling apart. It's about how you come back together. It's about your resilience, not your perfection. The person watching you is learning more from your authentic humanity than they ever would from a flawless performance. So release any pressure to maintain some image. Just keep being you in all your complex, beautiful, imperfect, genuinely strong humanity. Stay in your own lane. This is crucial. Their journey back to believing in love is theirs to walk. You can be inspiration, but you're not responsible for their transformation. You're not obligated to help them process their feelings. You're not required to reciprocate their admiration or meet their emotional needs. Your job is to stay focused on your own path, your own healing, your own growth. If they're meant to be part of your journey, they'll step forward at the right time, in the right way. If not, they'll remain a beautiful witness to this chapter of your life, and that's complete in itself. Don't derail your own growth trying to figure out what they're thinking or feeling. Don't make their potential feelings the center of your attention. Don't start living for the moments you might see them, or structuring your choices around getting their attention. Stay centered in your own life. That centeredness is part of what makes you attractive in the first place. Trust divine timing. If this person is meant to declare their feelings, to step forward, to pursue something with you, it will happen when both of you are ready. You cannot force timing. You cannot manufacture the right moment. You cannot control when or how someone else processes their emotions and finds their courage. What you can do is trust that if this connection is meant to deepen, the universe will orchestrate the circumstances that allow it to happen naturally. Your job is to remain open without chasing, available without waiting, interested without obsessing. This means you keep living your full life. You stay open to other connections. You pursue your goals and dreams. You don't put your life on hold for someone who hasn't stepped forward yet. You trust that what's meant for you won't miss you, and what misses you wasn't meant for you. Continue building your strength. The strength that's drawing this person's admiration isn't something you achieved and now maintain. It's something you're continuing to build. Keep doing your inner work. Keep healing the next layer. Keep growing into the next version of yourself. This ongoing growth serves two purposes. First, it keeps you on your authentic path, regardless of what happens with this person. Second, it ensures that if something does develop between you, you're bringing your best self to the connection. Relationships don't complete our healing. They reveal where we still need to heal. So the more work you do now, on your own, for yourself, the more prepared you'll be for genuine partnership when it arrives. If this message is blessing you, I'd be so grateful if you'd consider supporting this channel with the super thanks button. Your support allows me to keep diving deep into these soul-level conversations, and it means the world to me. Keep going to therapy if you're in therapy. Keep journaling. Keep processing your past. Keep setting boundaries. Keep choosing yourself. Keep building the life you want to live, whether anyone ever joins it or not. This isn't about making yourself ready for them. It's about honoring your own journey. Maintain your standards here. Is something vital. Just because someone admires your strength doesn't mean they're automatically the right person for you. Just because they're finding their way back to believing in love doesn't mean they're ready for the kind of love you deserve. Watch their actions, not just your awareness of their admiration. Do they show up consistently? Do they treat others with respect? Do they take responsibility for their choices? Are they doing their own healing work, or are they just admiring yours? Your strength deserves to be met with strength, not just appreciated from a distance. Your openness deserves to be honored with someone else's courage to be open to. Your healing deserves someone who's healing themselves, not someone looking for you to heal them. Don't lower your standards because someone sees you. Let them rise to meet you at the level you've worked so hard to reach. Create space for emergence. While you're not chasing or forcing anything, you can create energetic space for things to unfold naturally. This means being genuinely warm and open when you interact with them. Not performing interest, but not hiding behind walls either. Letting your authentic self show up. Having conversations that go beneath the surface when opportunities arise organically. Sharing real thoughts, asking real questions, creating depth without forcing intimacy. Being clear about your own life and path so they know who you actually are, not just who they imagine you to be. Let them see the full picture. Your dreams, your values, your non-negotiables, your vision for your life, allowing moments of vulnerability that let them see you're human, not just strong. Perfection is intimidating. Humanity is inviting. You can be both strong and still need support sometimes. Pay attention to energy, not just words. In the meantime, pay attention to the energy between you. Not to obsess over it, but to notice what's real. Do you feel safe around them? Does your nervous system relax or activate? Do you feel more yourself or less yourself in their presence? Energy doesn't lie. Bodies don't lie. Pay attention to how you feel, not just how they might feel about you. If being around them makes you feel expansive, peaceful, more like yourself, that's meaningful information. If being around them makes you feel anxious, performative, like you need to be someone you're not, that's also meaningful information. Your strength has taught you to trust yourself. Keep trusting yourself now. Release attachment to outcome. Finally, hold this entire situation loosely. Be open to what might unfold, but don't attach your happiness or sense of worth to whether this person steps forward or not. Your value isn't determined by who recognizes it. Your strength isn't validated by who admires it. You were whole before they noticed you. You'll be whole if they never say a word. You'll be whole if they step forward and it doesn't work out. You'll be whole if they step forward and it's everything you hope for. Your wholeness is yours. No one can give it to you, and no one can take it away. This is the ultimate demonstration of strength, being open to love while not needing any particular love to complete you. Being available for connection while not requiring any specific connection to make you okay. Wanting partnership while being genuinely fine alone. That paradox, wanting something without needing it, being open without being desperate, hoping without attaching. That's mastery. And you're learning it right now. Share in the comments. What part of your strength journey are you most proud of? Whatever happens with this person who's quietly admiring you, you're exactly where you're meant to be. Your strength is serving its purpose. Your healing is radiating out. Your journey is impacting people in ways you may never fully know. Keep walking your path with integrity. Keep showing up authentically. Keep being the person you've worked so hard to become. The right connections will form. The right love will find you. The right timing will reveal itself. And until then, you're not waiting. You're living. Fully, beautifully, strongly, tenderly living. That's the whole point. So here we are at the end of this conversation, but really you're standing at the beginning of something. Whether that something involves this person who's quietly admiring you or someone else entirely, or a season of beautiful solitude, you're positioned perfectly for what's next. Let's bring this home. Your strength, the kind you've built through pain and persistence, through falling apart and coming back together, through facing your shadows and choosing light anyway, that's not just a personal achievement. It's a transmission. It's a frequency. It's a beacon that calls in what matches it and repels what doesn't. The person who's been watching you, they're receiving that transmission. They're tuning into that frequency. They're being drawn to that beacon because something in them recognizes something in you. Not the you that you perform or pretend to be, but the you that you actually are when no one's watching. That's what makes this so beautiful. This isn't attraction based on image or performance. This is recognition based on essence. They're seeing your soul's work, and it's making them believe in the possibility of their own, whether they find the courage to step forward or not. Whether your paths intertwine romantically or remain separate. Whether this becomes a love story or stays a moment of mutual recognition, you've already given them something precious. You've shown them that healing is real, that people can be strong without being hard. That hope isn't foolish. And they've given you something too, even if they never speak a word of it. They've been a mirror reflecting back the beauty of what you've built. They've been confirmation that your journey matters, that your strength is seen, that who you're becoming is exactly who you're meant to be, this moment, right now, with someone quietly admiring your strength. With love becoming possible again for someone because of you. This is what happens when you do the real work. This is what unfolds when you choose authenticity over armor. This is the natural result of becoming someone who can hold both strength and softness without letting either one dominate. You didn't become this person to attract anyone. You became this person to free yourself, to heal yourself, to honor the life you've been given and the lessons you've learned. But in becoming this person, you've automatically become attractive to people who are ready for real love, who understand the value of someone who's done their work, who recognize strength when they see it. The universe is always listening to who we're becoming, not what we're saying. And who you're becoming is someone who makes people believe in love again. Not because you're trying to convince them, but because you're living proof. I want to honor everyone who's been on this journey of building genuine strength. If this video has touched you, has named something you've been experiencing, has given you language for what's happening in your life, please consider clicking the super thanks button below. Your support keeps this space alive and allows me to continue exploring these profound moments we all experience but rarely discuss. As you move forward from here, I want you to carry a few truths with you. You are not responsible for their feelings, their admiration, their growing belief in love, their internal transformation. These are beautiful things, but they are not your burden to carry. You don't owe them anything because they've noticed your strength. You don't need to reciprocate feelings you may or may not have. You don't need to make their journey easier by meeting them halfway before they've even taken a step. Your only responsibility is to continue being authentic, to keep honoring your own path, to stay true to what you've learned about yourself and what you want. If that means being open to them, beautiful. If that means keeping your focus elsewhere, equally beautiful. Your integrity to yourself is what created your strength in the first place. Don't abandon it now. Trust that what's meant for you is finding you. Person who's meant to love you, whether it's this person or someone else, will have the courage to show up. They'll find the words. They'll take the risk. They'll move toward you with intention and clarity. You won't have to decode mixed signals or wonder if they're interested. You won't have to chase or convince or wait indefinitely for them to get their act together. Real love, mature love, the kind of love that matches your strength. It moves toward you. It declares itself. It takes responsibility for its own feelings and desires. It shows up. So if this person is meant for you, they'll step forward. And if they don't, it's not because you weren't enough or didn't do enough or weren't clear enough. It's because the timing wasn't right or they weren't ready or you're meant for different paths. And all of those reasons are okay. You're not standing still, waiting for anyone to choose you. You're moving forward on your own journey, and the right person will run to catch up. Your strength will keep opening doors. This moment with this person is just one example of what your healing is creating. There will be others. Other people will recognize what you carry. Other opportunities will present themselves. Other connections will form that honor who you've become. Your strength isn't a one-time thing that attracts one person. It's a way of being that will continue to draw in experiences, people, and opportunities that match your frequency. The more you embody it, the more you'll find yourself surrounded by people who get it, who see you, who appreciate the work you've done. You're not hoping to be seen by one person. You're becoming increasingly visible to everyone who has eyes to see. And that visibility will serve you in every area of your life, not just romantically, but in friendships, career, family relationships, creative pursuits, all of it. The best is still ahead. Everything you've been through, everything you've survived, everything you've learned. It's been preparation. Not just preparation to be someone's partner, but preparation to live your best life, to show up fully, to love without losing yourself, to be strong without being defensive, to stay soft without being weak. You're standing at a threshold. Behind you is everything that built you. Ahead of you is everything you're building. And right now, in this present moment, someone is watching you stand at that threshold with admiration because they can see both where you've been and where you're going. They can see that you're not stuck in your past. You're not defined by your wounds. You're not limited by what hurt you. You're free. You're whole. You're powerful in the way that only people who've genuinely healed can be powerful. And if they're smart, if they're ready, if they're worthy, they'll find a way to tell you. They'll find the courage to step out of the shadows of quiet admiration and into the light of real connection. They'll risk rejection to offer you honest appreciation. They'll move from watching to participating, but whether they do or don't, you'll be fine. Better than fine. You'll be exactly who you've worked so hard to become, someone who knows their worth, who honors their journey, who stays open without being desperate, who remains strong without being hard. Someone who makes people believe in love again, just by being authentically themselves. Who else needs to hear this message? Drop their name or just type, "sending this to someone," if you know exactly who needs these words today. Before we close, I want to speak directly to your heart. You are remarkable. Not because you're perfect, but because you've chosen to heal. Not because you have it all figured out, but because you keep showing up even when it's hard. Not because you never struggle, but because you struggle with grace and keep moving forward anyway. The person who's quietly admiring your strength, they see this. They see you, and whether or not they become part of your story, the fact that they're seeing you, that your strength is helping them believe in love again, that matters. That's legacy. That's impact. That's proof that your journey hasn't been wasted. Every tear you've cried, every boundary you've set, every time you chose yourself when it would have been easier to abandon yourself, every moment you stayed open when closing down would have felt safer, all of it has led to this. To becoming someone who radiates the kind of strength that heals others just by existing. That's not a small thing. That's everything. So keep going, beautiful soul. Keep being exactly who you are. Keep walking your path with integrity and authenticity. Keep building the life you want to live, whether anyone joins it or not. Keep staying open to love, while being completely okay if love takes its time finding you. The right person will see what this person sees. The right love will meet your strength with their own. The right connection will honor everything you've built instead of asking you to diminish it. Until then, you're not waiting. You're not incomplete. You're not lacking anything. You're whole, powerful, radiant, and exactly where you're meant to be. And someone out there, maybe the person we've been talking about, maybe someone you haven't met yet, someone is going to be so grateful that you never gave up on love. So grateful that you stayed soft while building your strength. So grateful that you remained open while becoming unshakable. They're going to look at you the way this person is looking at you now, with quiet admiration and growing certainty, and they're going to have the courage to say it out loud. You're the reason I believe again, and when that moment comes, you'll be ready. Not because you waited for it, but because you kept building yourself while it was on its way. This is your time. This is your season. This is your strength coming full circle, not just healing you, but healing everyone wise enough to really see you. Walk forward with your head high and your heart open. You've earned both, and remember, you're not just strong. You're the kind of strong that makes other people believe in love again. That's the most beautiful strength there is.